You are my fire.
Why? Why would you do this?
My one
it's ruined already.
desire.
No. Stop.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of No Excuses on PGWProductions.com and YouTube.com with your favorite show hosts, Backstreet Boys.
NSYNC?
Like,
Why? We're gonna ruin everything now. The taint of the boy band is here.
Fern said, "Are you ready to start the show?" And I thought I was. I was
No.
wrong.
You were wrong.
I was so wrong. But at any rate, we are still here. We are still No Excuses, and we're still going to make a spirited attempt to bring you the show for this week, discussing the new video game news and so on and so forth for the week. But didn't go so well last week.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what happened, frankly. It died, but didn't recognize it was dead. And didn't tell me that it had died. It would just say, yeah, everything's normal. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, except it's dead inside.
So yeah, that's why you only have a 10-minute show last week.
Yeah, I might just push that off YouTube and we'll just pretend it never happened. So sorry about that, folks, but yeah. Anywho, on the screen today... Actually, no, shtick first.
We did the shtick.
Alright, well, okay. On the stream today...
We do the email. If you want to write us an email, you can write it to us at noexcusesbtw@gmail.com.
Professionalism. So that's that's that. On the stream today, I'm going to be playing Valheim because everybody... Well, I'm not playing it live, actually, because I want to keep an eye on OBS and make sure it doesn't catch fire or die in the background and not tell me again. So, this is the game that literally everyone on my friends list, except maybe Vol and Ari, was started to just play out of the blue.
Yeah, like it's crested. It's just barely crested the point now where enough people are playing it that I absolutely refuse to do so. Because there are games that are like that for me. Like at some point, enough people are playing it, and it's partly because I am plugged into the sewage outlet that is Twitter, that I get force fed any kind of popular garbage and immediately develop hyperversion for things like Valheim because nobody will talk about anything else.
Yeah. So for those who have been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, I guess, it is one of those procedurally generated crafting sandboxes, except this time you're a Viking. But
Yar.
It is early access, but unlike a lot of them, it works. And it's feature complete. Well, mostly.
So why is it in early access then? Is it really just the cynical excuse to not have a bug-free experience?
I think it's
is that
partly
where we are now?
Yeah, like when it's not uncommon for people to launch a game in early access where it's complete, but they just use early access as an excuse to say, oh yeah, okay, there's a couple of bugs in it we missed.
And I say grow a pair of testicles, please.
In this case, I have not run into a single bug. Except maybe a slightly wonky hitbox. One slightly wonky hitbox. For the most part, I think it's good. Just it's simple, unlike a lot of these other games where they just layer system upon system and bollock upon bollock. It's like, here is a simple combat mechanic, which is block and dodge type dealy. Here is your world. Here's some trolls, and now you're a pancake. Enjoy. So yeah,
I'm just hoping that we reach the end of this trend at some point where enough shovelware gets released as early access, because a lot of early access does seem to be shovelware.
A good amount of it, yeah.
I'm hoping that enough shovelware will be released that people will start thinking, you know what? Actually, maybe we'll just wait for things to be finished before we throw money at them, so that we can just put this whole experience behind us.
Yeah. I think we've at least crested the hill where it's like, we have the barely working framework of a game. Let's put it out on early access. That doesn't seem to happen all that often anymore, and when it does, Steam buries it. Unless it's something
I never actually hear about the formal release of anything anymore. Like, because Steam classifies early access games as new releases.
Yes.
So I never hear about the actual release, and I just switch off anytime I see an early access. Like, I'm not going to put money in it. I'm just
Yeah.
opposed to it. If you don't have the confidence to call it a finished product, I don't have the confidence to put money in it.
Yeah, that's fair. And especially people who've been burned before by early access games. Cough me. So,
Well, you buy into every trend and hipster game out there.
nah, not all of them. Not anymore.
Most of them. You're playing Valheim.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give it a pass on this one because it's actually complete. It's just for some reason wearing the early access hat. I'm not
Yeah.
sure why. Because if they just put this game out and said, yes, this is the full game, off you go, I don't think anyone would have batted an eye. Because you've got, what, 6 bosses, I think? You can go out and fight, as well as all various tiers of technology and things you can fight, work your way through. So it's a full game.
I know it's been sort of denigrated by the whole process of social media and the way social media has affected things. But I guess I don't know if it's just my nostalgia, but I feel like you can generate more. You can generate more of a bang, more hype if you just have a big release instead of trickling things out in early access.
Or 2
I mean,
small
I don't know.
releases.
Maybe people have a aversion to that now or something, but and it's because of the way social media operates. Usually, even if you just quietly release it as early access, if the right streamers pick it up, then it's not going to matter.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Maybe they just if it saves them wasting development money on marketing budget, I guess I can forgive it.
Yeah, like this is Valheim's only a team of like 5 people, if that.
I don't see why that doesn't mean that you can't, slam your fist on the table and say we're releasing this game now, it's done, and we're going to continue to support it, of course. But we think that this is a product that is in a finished state and is worth your time.
Yeah,
I don't see any reason to shy away from it.
I see absolutely no reason why they didn't do that, but I don't know. Maybe they got their reasons.
Possibly. It seems to be becoming like an industry-wide trend to just not release your game,
Yes.
and I don't like it.
Look at MMOs. I mean, you'll have a MMO that releases in beta, and they will just stay in beta forever.
Yeah, like I was interested in like Risk of Rain 2 for a while, and then I just totally lost interest because it didn't even come out. And I think it might actually be finished now, but it was in early access for so long that.
Let me have a look. Actually, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know the attraction of these early access games. It doesn't click with me at all.
Yeah, like
It's just
some games like they will. Well, particularly MMOs. Actually, they launch in early access and launch in beta, and then they'll stay there for years until people start losing interest, and then they will launch properly.
Like, the most recent example is Crosscode. I was looking at this game for a while, but it had that early access tag on it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to play that.
Yeah, here it is. Risk of Rain 2 is officially out, yes.
But
yeah, and from all accounts of the people that were playing it while it was in early access, it worked just fine, and there weren't problems with it.
Yeah.
Nothing substantial. Nothing that wasn't already released here.
So, yeah. Anywho.
Wait.
For those who are hesitant about seeing the early access tag on Valheim, don't be. It's fine. It's actually playable and it's a good time. It's also a time vampire if you're not careful.
My hesitance is not due to the fact that I think it's buggy. My hesitance is due to the fact that I don't like the trend and I don't want to encourage it.
Yeah, there's also that. So, anyway, that's been a good chunk of my week. As soon as people saw me online because, there's Fern. Stuff him in a sack. We're dragging him off to this next early access game. So I played.
I've been sending you random messages all week and you haven't responded, and you've made me feel really sad.
Like I said, I've been living in that hole all week. Besides, half of the messages you've sent me have been about weird anime girls.
How's this different from normal?
It's not.
Yeah, ever since Ari caught the HoloLive bug, he's basically sent no other types of messages.
Yeah. Also, you got my diatribe about the Facebook fun we've been having, which has been delicious.
Oh yeah, I did. You did respond to that. That's real world politics stuff, though.
It is, but it's worth quickly touching on. It's Facebook having a dummy spit because Australia wants them to pay for the media content they've been stealing all these years. So they decided to start banning things.
This has been a subject of pretty contentious debate from what I've seen. I haven't read enough about it to come down on either side because people seem to be taking the social media platform side on this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single person do that.
I've seen the lion's share of people doing that.
Wow,
you live in the country that is.
Yeah, you are in the most skewed location for information. Of course, the people you are most likely to come into contact with are going to take that view. But the viewpoints I've seen from people scattered across the world, mostly like 85% come down on the side of the social media company, and I'm not sure if they are clear on exactly why. I'm not clear on exactly why because I haven't read into the issue enough. But they see it as a journalistic outlet trying to just trying to just get legal leverage over social media. They see it as a very cynical act. They don't see it as actually trying to get money for their content.
Yeah. So the people who actually do know what they're talking about seem to be coming down against Facebook, thankfully. So yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, the censoring of things like charities and stuff by Facebook and your government getting mad at that, I can understand that.
Oh, it's not just charities though. It's like support groups and things like that as well, including a relay for a fire emergency broadcast system during a fire emergency.
I don't think any of that is directed at Australia or Australian entities though. It's just that when Facebook have an excuse to press the censorship button, they don't just press it once.
Oh no.
They just start to hammer it over and over again. It's like, we have got an excuse now. We can sweep any number of censorship things that we want under the rug in the name of this particular act. And so we'll just turn the bots loose.
Yeah. And they just started mashing. And they got all sorts of things. And even the woke sites were not safe.
Well, no, because if you're just trawling, I mean, the only thing that you're going to, when you go to censor things, you're going to be censoring, last known update of the precepts of woketitude, which change moment by moment.
Yes.
So the allowable keywords will move all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's been a good, amusing sideshow this week. Not so much amusing for the people who had all their sites and the services they rely on taken away, but for someone who hates social media in general, it's been amusing. Yeah, this was always going to happen.
Why you put all your eggs in one basket, man? I don't think that you should hook yourself into these things. Period. I don't see why anybody would. It seems like a really bad idea, all told. Like, it's true that I am a social media user in the absolute sense of the word, but it's a sideshow to me. It's not something that I look at. Like, I very rarely even bother to look at Twitter when I'm actually sitting at my PC.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it on my phone for cheap laughs when I'm at work. Like that's what it's for. Like it's not something that I depend on in any capacity. I depend on the thing that I'm most dependent on probably amongst the social media utilities is probably Discord, and I could probably dispense with that in favor of something else if I had to.
Yeah, like in a pinch, I could go to Steam or WhatsApp. WhatsApp is Google, isn't it? No, it's Facebook actually.
I can't remember whether I think it's Facebook that owns it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I could not do WhatsApp, but there's alternatives out there anyway. And if I did lose Discord, I'd be kind of miffed, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. But you do. Yeah,
I think that would be something that Gabian would take as a cue to kick Steam development into high gear, because I think the main reason that Steam's social networking capacity to operate the way Discord does is so. The word that I was intending to use was retarded, because I think I mean that in the literal sense. Like it's been held back And I think that the main reason for that is that Discord exists, and unlike so many other companies, Gabion doesn't tend to throw money after being second,
Mm-hmm.
because it very rarely pays off doing that. Like WoW Killers, for instance, they very rarely paid off.
Or the Halo Killers, which was even better. None of those paid off.
Yeah, but I think that Steam is positioned to be able to replace Discord, and as long as Gaben is not, manifestly outwardly promoting wokeitude and maintains an iron grip control over Valve, it probably won't descend too far into the muck in short term.
Yeah. Thankfully, they seem to have that check.
I really wish Steam would take over Discord's role in things right now, because I'm getting really worried with the way Discord's been behaving lately.
Yeah, and it's like the discussion I had with you though earlier. Well, it was not much of a discussion because you didn't give me much feedback. But when I was questioning exactly how many people does it take?
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like what is required if you have a leader who is basically an autocrat like Gaben? You can hold a lot of things at bay. It's part of the reason why in tough times people tend to favor dictatorships. Is because that one man's force of will can hold back a lot of bad things in the short term, provided that they don't become immediately corrupt. But yeah, there's always a huge amount of risk tied into that type of thinking. But it has kept Steam from becoming essentially another fountain of wokeness, because I think that there is judging by the way their censorship has operated over the course of time, I think that there is the potential for them to slide down that route, and it's being arrested by the fact that Gaben actually likes video games, as far as I can tell.
So,
the Latink sale. I'll never forget.
The Latink sale that was roundly mocked and lambasted by everybody.
And they took it down and
honestly,
they gave a little sidebar.
Until I looked further at it, I honestly thought that was a con set somewhere in Latin America. Which would have been good, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because it's a word that's sort of kitschy enough to be something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, it's the sort of, like, slap an X on the end of something and there's the name of your con.
But, I mean, generally speaking, it seems like most Hispanic people see it as a racial slur.
I would. That would
because
be
they see it as an imposition upon them that they didn't ask for and they didn't want, but it's a name that's being called by them to imply certain things about who they are for political reasons. Like, how could you not see that as a slur, really?
It's a name given to them despite their best wishes, which goes against their history, their culture, and their language as a whole.
Yeah, about to say, the biggest problem here is it just invalidates Spanish?
Basically, yes.
How do you say that is that when you call somebody Latina, you're saying that girl?
Yeah, but Spanish is wrong.
Latinx. But the whole using Latin as a descriptor was also artificial, from what I've heard. Like that's not based in anything historical, and it's not based in anything that was developed within their culture. It was simply a name given to them by people who insisted that they needed to be put in a racial category.
In a bucket.
Can you conjugate Latino and Latina to Latinamos?
I don't know.
Does that work in Spanish?
I don't know any modern Romance
ask someone who knows
languages.
Spanish.
I only know languages that have been dead for more than 1,000 years.
I'm just trying to think of how bad they screw the language up when they put Latinx. I don't think you can.
Does
I think there's a generic noun.
In the Spanish language is the question.
Well,
yes.
All of those Aztec place names have X's for days.
Yeah, but it's not an X as an X. It's an X as an SH. In a lot of cases.
A, B, C, D, D, F, W, Igis. Igis, yes, it does exist.
Why does everybody sing the alphabet?
I don't know. It's just drummed into you at a very young age.
So yes, they have Igis. It's a letter X.
Okay. Anywho, crap. How did we get here? Anyway, so
Social media.
social media. Winding back further, Valheim. Okay, I'm just going to go on a new tangent then. So the reality TV train is continuing in town at the moment at a steady
Didn't have one
clip.
ready.
What's that? Oh shit!
You,
Did I
you
lose it?
didn't have a tangent ready. I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay. I think that's Discord wigging out because we said naughty words.
What naughty words?
No, we said extremely politically correct words. Repeatedly.
In a mocking fashion.
Is it geese now an improper letter?
Not just, there's word policing, the thought policing, and tone policing.
Oh, it seems to be working now. So anyway, yeah, as I mentioned last week, which disappeared in the void, my town's been chosen as the host of the newest season of Survivor Australia.
Fern, I need to have a talk with you.
Oh God.
Oh,
If you live so far in the sticks that Survivor shows up at your town, maybe you should consider moving somewhere else.
well, I
well,
mean, to be
whereabouts
fair, his town probably has a lower death count than the one that I live in.
Yeah, only because
That's
everybody
probably
from birth has to go through literal Survivor training.
it's get used to the heat and complain about it constantly.
And we have that, but Survivor doesn't come out here to the boonies in Georgia.
To be fair, Survivor. Okay, I actually got word from someone who's read their NDA, which they've put out, which I haven't yet. I haven't signed it yet. I haven't read it, gotten it.
You, as a town citizen, have to sign it.
How much money are they putting in your council's coffers?
Much money. Very yes money. So
here's your answer to that, Fern. You rip it up and throw it in the fire.
so it's just your usual regular stuff like no spoilers and all that stuff, and don't go, peddling all the people's details online. But there is one line on there which everyone seems to be getting a good kick out of, which is, don't admit the show is not real. It's reality TV.
I'm surprised that they're willing to actually put that down in black and white.
It's probably a holdover from the days when people actually believed reality TV had any sort of reality basis.
I'm sure there are still tons of people that do. Like
Oh
Norman.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Almost certainly.
Normies still will argue with me that what they're seeing on the television is totally real and not scripted.
If you haven't signed the NDA yet, are you allowed to publicize the NDA all over the internet?
Yes.
If I had a copy of it, probably.
And what's
Although-
the penalty for not signing the NDA anyway?
They just don't.
Like
They're
they can't send you to jail for not signing some reality TV studio's NDA, surely.
I don't know what the deal with it is.
They're going to throw you out the town?
It'll probably be legal red tape and bollocks is what they tie you up in instead. So yeah, it's still going. We haven't had the sexy people trademark turn up yet, but there might be a while before.
Your way to bleed them for cash over that. It's like, yeah, I'm willing to sign this, but you need to sweeten the pot.
Yeah, like nobody who's had any decent thinking done about reality TV believes it's real. Like, you've got these people on TV who are too dumb to live, frankly, because they're not acting like people. They're acting like, terribly fan-written props. And they always come from the same mold. Like, you've always got the sexy guy, you always got the sexy girl, the
Always
bitch,
the cast of Jersey
the
Shore.
nerd. Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, usually they're a slightly higher caliber than that. Nothing
really
is that
tells
low
us.
caliber.
Are you willing to go on record saying that?
Yes, because Jersey Shore exists, and it is the empirical proof of the bottom of the barrel.
So when the latest generation of Survivor shows up and makes you eat your words, what are you going to do?
Probably curl into a hole and die.
So, Fern, if you want to offset your despair at this happening, I got a real easy solution for you as somebody that runs their own business. All your prices,
Oh yeah, these are the TV people prices.
yeah, you better be charging TV people prices if
And
California's
more to the
coming
point,
to your
this
area.
is government grant money.
Oh, that's even better. I'm not kidding. A 5x, 6x multiplier on your prices seems perfectly okay for these people.
That's how it usually goes. Give me my taxes back, damn it.
That's the way.
So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Like, I don't hold any malice, I suppose, before the people themselves. It's just the whole concept of reality TV is so woefully schlocky.
It's
So
more
ultimately, the logic that we're seeing here is that reality TV may not be real, but the money that they are bringing here is very, very real.
It is very, very real, and there is a lot of it coming to town.
you better be charging $10 a mile for your taxi service.
That's actually about roughly what the metered rate is.
Yeah, you don't know what it's like in other countries, man. Taxis are the luxury way to travel.
Yes.
Like I use them sometimes, but I'm the exception. Most people aren't willing to splurge. I just don't want to. I don't want to sit next to somebody who smells, so I'm willing to pay. But
like, you can take a bus and it's cheap, or you can splurge for a bit more and get a car to yourself with a taxi.
Yeah, I want my air conditioning. I want a driver who doesn't talk, and I can sit in silence and relax, because it's usually like 3 a.m.
Anywho, what else did I do for my week? Not too much. I have actually decided there is a thing I must do. Something I've been meaning to do for the last 10 years and never actually done it, and that is complete Evil Genius 1. I've never done it. I've had the game for ever since it launched, I think, actually, and I've never beaten it. And the sequel comes out in only a couple of weeks. So,
I'm going to have to Google that game to remember what the heck it is.
It's exactly what it sounds like. You're an evil genius and you want to take over the world. Made by, among other things, a handful of people who made Dungeon Keeper 2.
Oh, right, this game.
Yeah.
Remember Dungeon Keeper 3?
No. Dungeon Keeper Mobile was Dungeon Keeper 3, and we don't remember that, except as a dire warning. Alright, so that's basically been my week, and we've got a lot of news to talk about, so we can't bang on it too long. So, Vol, go for it.
I can't say that I have a great deal to talk about, since most of my time during the week was where I had time to play video games. Mostly I was playing the FGO event, the rerun of Seraph, because it's basically story-wise the best event that they ever ran, quite likely. Like, maybe not in terms of pure comedy necessarily, but because the summer events are really funny. But in terms of the writing and so forth and the intricacies of the plot, it's definitely the best. I chucked a couple tickets in the pot, and I drew another copy of Melt, which was exactly what I wanted, and I stopped chucking tickets in the pot immediately. Very, very powerful servant to have in an awful lot of situations, to be quite honest. Works very well with Skadi, not perfectly, but very well. So yeah, I haven't really done a great deal other than that. I don't think that I've got a huge amount to talk about this week. It was a fairly tough week at work, although it always seemed like we were going to finish at a normal time and then always fell apart at the last minute. That seemed to be the way of things.
So, normal, then.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, and so I don't have a great deal else to talk about. It was mostly just, I'm at that point where you come home from work and it's like, oh, you know what, I could do something, or I could just blob out because I don't have the energy to actually do anything. So, yeah, I don't know. The hope springs eternal, as I always say, for the next week, that it will be better than the previous one. I have yet to see it happen, but yeah. So yeah, it's Lent has started, so I am doing my annual test to determine whether I've become an alcoholic over the course of the past year.
And the answer is?
Yes.
Still not sure yet. Still not sure yet. Because every year is one of my Lenten abstentions, I stop consuming any alcohol whatsoever. And the theory being that if I've ever gotten into such a bad drinking habit that I'm not able to do so, then I know that I need to go and get help. So
that's fair.
So every year, same test, 40 days, no alcohol. But So far, I haven't bent on it. I don't think that I will. My pantry is still full of wine as always, so the temptation is always going to be there. But haven't buckled yet. Don't intend to do so.
How much longer you got?
This Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, which is the beginning of Lent,
Okay.
and it ends with the Easter Vigil. So got a ways to go yet, but yeah. Did I do anything really this week? I feel like I must have done something to fill the time, but I can't for the life of me think what that was. I just don't really have the energy to do a great deal of anything. Of course, I played a bit of Skyrim, but it's sort of gradually I'm approaching the end of the arc. Like as always, I've put off major storylines till last, but I'm starting to run out of major storylines to put off until. So yeah, I'll be probably finishing up my revisitation of Skyrim soon. Although how soon is, given the small amount of free time I've got, remains to be seen. I don't think I've got much else to comment on as far as anime goes and so forth. There's been a bunch of I've seen that there's been a bunch of debacles, but in the anime space,
Yeah, there always
mainly
are.
involving Funimation, as always, but
Again.
and Crunchyroll as well. Like
Again.
they're just absolute profiteering scumbags. A lot of them.
They just have overbloated themselves in the Western markets to such a point where any problem that does come up is going to be tied to them no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's certainly true, but
I must say, though, I'm getting a good giggle out of this Crunchyroll exclusive or Crunchyroll funded anime. I haven't actually watched it yet.
Oh, did it finally come out?
Oh, it's not that one. Not the Woke is All Get Out one. This is one that is a 3D animated one. What was it called now? I'll have to look it up again.
Oh, the one that's terrible? Worse than Berserk?
Yeah, it is awful. Absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk about that. Mainly disbelief that any show could possibly be so bad and actually make it onto the position where it can be actually viewed by people. Like you would think you would look at that thing and immediately conclude, no, this looks like a high school animation project. Let's just shelve this one.
It's like when you have a scene with 3 people in it and none of them look like they belong in the same universe.
Yeah, so how about that High Guardian Spice?
Yeah, let's not, please. Here it is. Exile. That was what it was called.
We are still streaming, by the way, Fern. I just checked it.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. It's still alive.
Your spear is poking through your shield.
Yeah. That's a thing. I mean, that's how it always works with, back-mounted weaponry for a lot of the games. Is they kind of just put them there and say clipping. Yeah. Anyway. It's either that or redo how all the animations work.
Right. I don't think I've got much else to talk about, really. I just didn't have a very active week in most senses. I mean, I did continue playing Jump Force after we signed off for the show, which is well. I mean, I guess we didn't really cover anything at all last week since none of it was committed to the record. But
whoops,
because I'm stupid like that. And I was very frustrated at it. The actual mechanics are very strange.
Yeah,
they're jank, and I could not get the hang of them at all. And I got absolutely teabagged by this nasty looking Cell knockoff with a turtle shell on his head at great length. Yeah. Because his moveset is absolute bull. Tell you what. But it's
your arc lasted way too long. Seriously, it dragged.
I never finished it because I was so mad after Greed Island. That's where I stopped Hunter x Hunter.
Greed Island was such a dumb arc.
I've heard nothing but praise for the Chimera Ant arc and how great it is. and how Miriam's like this great, wonderful character, and I've did a little bit of wiki reading on it, and Great
Then
Island
why
was
does
so
he look-
bad.
Why does he look like a knockoff of Cell then?
I have no
Reasons.
idea.
He's even got the weird syringe tail.
He does. And
But he
everyone
has-
points that out. Is that he looks kind of like a weird Cell knockoff.
But he also has the
from
weird.
Ari's description, he does the same thing too. He like absorbs people.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he like adapts based on what he eats and stuff. He's also got hand vaginas.
Oh yeah, he does too. I forgot about that.
They look incredibly nasty in Jump because all the characters have man hands,
Yeah.
like super big man hands. But it's okay because I found the one move that beats him is throwing sand in those hands.
Yes, having orifices in your hands is never a good evolutionary idea. Especially if those orifices have eyeballs in them.
But yeah, generally speaking, I was very frustrated by the game because victory or defeat seems to hinge about 80% on how many moves the opposing character has that have absolute bullcrap priority over everything that you do.
The game just doesn't telegraph super armor or what breaks armor very well at all. I think it's its biggest problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't distribute the moves that have them appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and also the AI is drop dead stupid some of the time. Like, some of the AI is so stupid you can sit there with Yusuke and fire Spirit Gun over and over again and win the match.
Yep, I did that myself. But
I mean, Yusuke. It's kind of what he does.
and they seem to have some pretty dodgy coding as well, because when I fought what's his name? The younger
Toguro.
Yeah, I think I counted about 8 or 9 times that he used his ultimate attack at a range where it was just going to stop short of actually reaching me. So every time he used his ultimate, all I had to do was stand there, and
So
it would
they've-
miss.
They've set up his AI to say, okay, he'll use his ultimate at X range, but they never bothered to actually check that it'll impact.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So it is the
So just
Bandai
every
game.
time. Yeah, that's true. But they've clearly put a lot of work into a lot of aesthetic aspects of it. Although, as we've mentioned before, the characters do look rather uncanny in a lot of ways.
Especially...
My girl is very, very sad.
Which girl?
But
The protag, your OC you have to make.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I could never make an OC that looked good.
I couldn't make one look normal.
No, you
We're
can't
s-
make him look normal.
And it's not just Neanderthal face. They're stuck with some stupid expression.
Like,
So they're either
slightly
incredible,
constipated.
they're either constipated, angry, or sad.
Yeah. They can't make someone who is neutral. Because neutral is constipated.
So my girl looks like she needs to be on a suicide watch.
Yeah. Like, my character looks like he really needs to poop. When I made him.
I see.
Yeah.
Was
You can
that
actually even give a
intentional?
character happy eyes, but they never smile. And it looks really weird.
I will dig through my message history with Vol and find a picture of my character and her suicide watch face.
Yeah. So I did play it. I did play a bit of it. I mean, I haven't gone back because I didn't treasure the experience enough to be eager to go back in. But that doesn't mean I'll never play it again, because I had a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
Mainly just seeing how they had rendered various attacks and whatnot. But
Certainly not worth the full price ticket that they've got on it.
No.
I found the decision to put hard elemental strengths and weaknesses in there a bit perplexing, because
Yes.
it really doesn't seem like a game that's built for that. It meant that you could, build a team and then just find out that it was hard counted.
Yeah.
Or you just, there's a character that you like and you just can't use it to do a certain fight because you'll be outgunned by a spectacular margin or whatever.
Yeah. Also, don't main Sanji. Ever.
Well, not if there are any female characters that you ever have to fight.
Yeah. Like, it makes perfect sense for him as a character, but mechanically, yeah. Having him turn into a complete wreck, make him a completely useless gag character. whenever a female turns up is kind of annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
I
perfect
can't-
sense
I
for him as a
can't-
character, though.
The whole time we were playing post-show, Vol was asking me all these questions about the game. I'm trying my best to figure it out, but the only answers I've got for him, I'm just kind of intuiting my way through a few things, but it doesn't make any sense to me either.
But I just assumed that he would pick up on it since he's played a lot of action games and a lot of fighting games. But apparently, it just doesn't care about obeying any kind of coherent rules at all.
It's like I worked a few things out, but there were just subtle little instinctual things that made me play a little bit better. Stuff that I've learned to look out for with animation cues. It's nothing that you can translate into teaching somebody. And the actual mechanics are still like just a big eldritch blob to me when I look at them.
There
I
also
don't have
seems
a
to be
clue.
like some mechanics where the game will say, okay, if you the character is throwing a high attack, you can block it by like this. But every now and again, the game just says, nah.
But how do I ID a high attack? How do I know if this attack has a penetrating property on it?
Not gonna tell you.
Like, how do I know if I have super armor on attacks?
Not gonna
Oh,
tell you.
I happened to find one, and that's how I didn't have trouble with Miriam. Was I found Gara, the Sand Ninja's big sand tsunami,
Oh, yep. So you get super armor on that.
and the whole thing has armor. The entire animation.
That sounds a bit broken and ridiculous.
So all you do is you throw sand in Miriam's hand coochies over and over again.
Oh, classy.
I mean,
We're all class on this show.
it's exactly what happened.
It is.
Just because I tell you literally what happened, you get all offended, Fern.
I'm not offended. It's just, yeah, we're, here comes the gutter, our old friend.
Also, I posted my suicidally depressed character inside the live show chat.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen this yet. Let's see. Oh, my. Did somebody just kick her puppy? It looks like someone just kicked her puppy.
Yes. And also, I went online very briefly for about 2 minutes, and the first character I bumped into was a guy named 123 with this outfit I'll post in live show chat.
Yep. That seems about right.
Yep. Video games.
I really did get the impression that the designers felt like it was going to be a way bigger deal than it turned out to be. Because there's a lot of like there are login bonuses and there's like events and there's like raid bosses and stuff. And I'm like, you guys really have the community to support all of this content? Because if you really wanted that, maybe you should have made some tighter mechanics to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, it's my Shonen Jump. That'll draw everybody in by itself, right?
To a point, yes.
That'll get everybody to look. That'll get everybody to look at it. But you need to actually have something there to get people to play it.
Yeah, you need more than the goldfish attention span is necessary.
Yeah, and you certainly need to charge it at a correct price.
Yeah, I feel like they made an awful lot of mistakes, and basically, like in a lot of situations, they toss what could be a valid concept down into the gutter because they managed to execute so poorly on so many different things that now investors will be too scared to ever try again.
Yep.
I mean, if you'd have simplified the blocking system and had it on the same button as the dodge button and just only had sidestepping or holding forward, back, or neutral to block, that would have helped a lot. If you'd have found a way to telegraph high attacks and penetrating attacks and super armor attacks better by putting a slight glow around the characters, that would have helped a lot.
Yeah, like
if you'd have...
If a penetrating attack is coming and just have the character glow a bit green or something.
Yeah, have it glow red or something.
And
anything.
Consistent.
Yeah, if a character has super armor right now, put a small... You can put blue little particle floaties around them and to give it away. But there's no kind of read like that I saw while I was playing on what you can tell when armor is available. And armor is a real problem when you're playing the game. Because until you fight against that character, and until you probably fought against them several times, you're not going to know what animations have super armor. And so you're going to be sitting there whacking them and not putting them in hit stun.
But on the other hand, they will just happily, gleefully wail on you while you're in the middle of your combo.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you, the most dangerous part of any action game is when the enemies have super armor. It kind of messes with your flow, and it's used sparingly. It's reserved in Devil May Cry for Dante must die difficulty, and only when enemies are below 25% HP.
And you sort of like to know when that's happening as well.
Oh yeah, and they make them all glow purple and shit. Well, and all shiz in those games too. Like super armor's a big deal in action games.
I feel like the intent was that they were going to create a Shonen Jump sort of market equivalent to Smash Brothers, but they derped on the mechanical aspects of the game so badly in favor of just playing up the licenses that it was a totally lost cause, and now it's just not going to happen.
I'm pretty sure that actual game already exists, or used to exist.
When I said that with respect to the market, though, right? Like there is nothing Shonen Jump that has the sort of market coverage, market penetration that Smash Brothers does.
Yeah,
I mean, you've seen how the internet reacts when Smash Brothers announces a new character.
Usually blind
unfortunately.
rage. Yeah. They react is more the thing.
Yeah, and there's Shonen Jump doesn't have that game, despite the compatibility that the characters have for that context. There is no equivalent game.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably what they were going for, judging by how much sort of horizontal system stuff they had jammed in there with their and you know, the incentivizing people to log in every day by giving out bonuses and that sort of thing for daily logins, the way a mobile game would, or the way the likes of Genshin Impact did. I mean, it looks like it was set up to be a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal.
Because their game is the same game they've released 5-6 times now.
Yeah. They've flooded it too hard. Too many system mechanics that are in there are divided up too much and not telegraphed clearly enough.
Yeah.
Like it's
I'm
just
not
a
counting
mess.
the Naruto games. 12 times. They've released this game 12 times.
At least the Naruto games are playable because they don't have system bloat.
Usually, until somebody inevitably discovers the ridiculously overpowered character.
Yeah, but that's just scaling. I mean, in Power Creep, that happens. That's not system bloat.
That's a character who's overpowered by design in a lot of cases.
Like, you log into Jump Stars, and it's just, or Jump Force or whatever, and it's just system bloat everywhere. Every ability has 80 different tags on it on what it does. 70 different keywords across all the passive abilities. Like, what does any of this mean?
Nothing. Nothing is what it means.
Yeah, so because they didn't put a lot of points in accessibility, I gotta say. Not least they don't tell you how anything works or what you should be doing.
So yeah, that's Jump Force though.
Yeah.
Right. I think I'll leave my week there since that basically encapsulates most of what I did.
Alright, we're still a bit ahead of time, so Ari, you want to hammer through your week before we get in the news after the break?
Yeah, like you two, I don't have very much either. I was working all week. So I do have a few fun real life things. I've been left alone in my residence for a week, which has been nice. However, I did have to have I have no money and I must eat dinner today. So that was
again.
Oh no, I took a picture of it. I'll post it in the live show chat.
A dry ham sandwich and scrambled eggs.
Ham and cheese sandwich and scrambled eggs. It's gonna take a minute to post. But it's
I don't know, there's leagues about the sort of stuff that I eat.
Yeah, it's usually when I had that period of life where I just couldn't afford to eat, it was like packet noodle.
Yeah. The only reason that was on the cheap side is because I didn't have to pay for the eggs. I stole them. So the old lady next door who breeds horses has a chicken farm or a chicken coop back there where she just has too many eggs all the time. So anytime anybody needs eggs, you can just go ask her for eggs.
Yeah. There's a lot of people like that around here.
So free eggs. But that's one of the benefits to living in the sticks.
Oh, we've got chickens in the coop across the road at the moment, and I swear those eggs go backwards the way they carry on.
I wonder if I can eat one of the emu eggs from the emu farm.
I wouldn't recommend it. Apparently they taste awful.
Be a really big omelet, though.
Oh, yeah. It would be.
But, yeah. So, yeah. I have been relatively poor because my paycheck keeps getting cut, and I'm voluntarily cutting it because I'm the one that pays myself. Because we got screwed over by the Wu flu. And I told the opossum, we're going to get hit by it. Just give it a little bit. We lag a little bit because we put our quotes out, and it takes a few months for people to get back to us. Just give it a few months, and we're going to be hit with a lag. This is going to be just as hard as everybody else, and the private sector is going to be dead. What happened? Exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I am trying to find a way to juggle the funds we got to pay off our suppliers, to keep all our normal upkeep costs going, and still pay something that resembles a paycheck, which has meant for about 2 months now, no paycheck for me.
Yay.
And the money I had laying around in checking is about to dry up, and I really, really don't want to dip into savings. So, ham and cheese sandwich with scrambled eggs.
Yeah, it's far from the worst thing I've seen people eat when they have no money. Yeah,
The thing costs me
packet noodles for a week is the usual for that.
Packet noodles for a week is me normally. There's when things are going well for me.
Yeah. The grand total cost of that meal is probably around 66 cents because the eggs were free.
Yeah.
So yeah, the penny pension time has started in my life, and work just continues to pile on. And I realized we got hit for a $100 error, or not $1,000 error on an order from somebody that just quit.
Yay!
They screwed up. They ordered the wrong thing. And it was nowhere even close to the right product. So we're allowed to restock it for 50% of what we sold it for back at the factory. So we get half our money back, but we also have to give them the proper product for free. And there ain't no real way around that. So thanks, former employees. Thanks for continuing to be a pain in my butt even after you quit.
Yeah.
So there was that mistake I had to deal with, and was on the phone with somebody for a very long time about. Had to upgrade the phone system at the office. That's been a pain in the butt, because I'm finally talked the opossum into getting rid of the freaking copper system we have.
Ugh.
Our phones broke earlier in the week, and I had to call AT&T and say, yes, we're the one house on this road that still uses copper. Yes, the business. Yes, that one. Can you please send somebody to go jump in the hole and dust off the copper wires?
Did they just say, why?
They did, and then the guy called me. He's like, please, for the love of God, get a digital line. We got fiber out here, dude. It's cheaper. And we don't have to jump in the pit and go open up the box and dust off the copper wires. I'm like, I'm trying. And I finally talked the opossum into it, so we're upgrading the phones this coming week. So that was fun. And none of that has to do with video games or entertainment, because that's not in my life right now. It's all work.
We did have our little shenanigan before the show playing Terraria, though.
Yeah. Fern's off beating the game, and me and Ava are sitting there trying to figure out what's an anvil? And what can we do with it?
Although Ava seems to have definitely gone down the room of, how can I make this bathroom as ostentatious as possible?
Oh, now he's making a basement.
I'll have to bring him back some marble next time I go spelunking.
Yeah. I've just kind of left the server open and had the game minimized while he I don't know what he's doing down there.
It's diggy
But
hole.
he is digging a very, very ostentatious hole down there. But he's still in that cactus armor you gave him.
Oh, dear.
Why did you make an entire armor set out of a cactus?
Because cactus armor is one of the best things you can get at the start of the game.
Oh,
You just
my.
walk to the left, harvest some cactus, and make some rather pointy armor.
Blood Moon's gonna come while I have that thing minimized, and it's just gonna kill him.
Yes.
It's gonna be funny. But yeah, so we played a bit of Terraria after mentioning it last week off the record because it got deleted.
Yeah.
And yeah, be interesting to poke at that occasionally. You just had a copy laying around to give, Abo?
I did. I got a spare copy years ago.
So it's just been rotting in your
It's
Steam
been
inventory?
rotting in my Steam inventory, and it's hardly the only game. Like, let me pop it back up. What have I got?
I think I have some stuff rotting in there.
Yeah, like
Right.
from the early days of Steam, you could buy like
Back when
sale
you could buy
bundles.
things for people.
Back when you could buy
Yeah.
things for people, you could buy a sale bundle, and if you already had the item or one of the items, instead of just
Dude.
reducing the price, it would give you a gift copy.
Yeah. It would dump all copies into your inventory to be distributed.
Yeah. So I've got, let's see, I've got, geez, the original Torchlight. Where did I get that? A couple of games that nobody in their right mind would play, like God Mode.
Goddess.
No, that's even worse. I have a complete edition of Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
I see.
Tropico 4. So yeah.
But yeah, Fern had Vitcha Game laying in his thing, so we gave it to Abo and we played Terraria. And Fern's off winning the game, talking about how we're going to kill all these bosses, and I'm sitting here at the base going, how do I craft a wall?
How do I do thing?
And Fern's like, oh, look at this cool grappling hook and all these awesome weapons and treasures I found. I'm like, I made a room.
It wasn't a grappling hook. Well, it is a grappling hook if you want to be technical. It's a squirrel tied to a piece of rope.
And Fern's like, okay, we can almost summon the first boss. I'm like, I found a flute that summons a snake.
It is a long boy.
So
The longest boy.
It is the longest boy.
So the adventures in Terraria have been, Fern knows how to do everything, and it's way too complicated to go through all the steps and explaining it, so he just goes and does it, and I play with my snake flute.
That is probably the worst possible name you could give that.
What's this stupid thing called?
A snake
I found
charmer's
it.
flute, something like that.
Yeah, the Snake Charmer's flute. It summons a pot wherever your mouse cursor is within a certain range of your character, and out of the pot comes this giant, super long purple snake you can climb on like a rope.
Yes.
So yeah, Terraria was some Vijay, and you'll see that on screen next week and see Fern die horribly several times.
Yeah, I'll probably actually record better footage because a bulk of the footage I've already got has just been diggy hole.
There's nothing wrong with Diggy Hole as background noise
There is
or background
nothing
video.
wrong with diggy hole.
I think you're just embarrassed by how many times you died early
Ah,
when you're supposed to be the expert.
yeah, but dying early on in Terraria is not a big deal, admittedly. You just
But
don't
yeah.
care, and your initial weapon is absolute toilets.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
not just one toilet.
Many
Or at
many
least-
toilets.
At least not a very plain toilet at any rate.
No, the copper short
Abo has-
sword is the single worst weapon in the game.
Yeah, but Abo has a toilet with candelabras around it made of wood.
He has an
With a big win-
incredibly ostentatious toilet.
He does.
And just to lower the brow, I walked in there with a whoopee cushion. Which
Isn't
was
that
kinda
really
redundant?
dropped. Well, there's no toilet sounds if you use the toilet normally, so you've got to provide the sound effects.
There is a whoopee cushion item.
Well, because you need a true to life toilet experience.
I guess. Partly it was just fun to screw with Abo.
That is a fun time. But yeah, so we did that.
We'll show that off next week.
Yeah. Maybe we'll play more. Maybe we won't.
Yeah,
We're kind of flighty people, so who knows what happens.
Yeah.
Now let's see. PSO2 is done.
It's done.
I
It's
won.
finished.
Dunzo.
I won. I beat the game. Level 100 everything. Got all the outfits I want. Got
Okay.
got all the client orders in the game done. Story mode done.
Just waiting for the tutu now.
Yep. Now I pretty much put it on the shelf.
Yeah, we gotta wait till May for that.
So beat that game. Didn't really have to try very hard. They dumped like 5 rainbow keys on me on Wednesday.
Yeah, what are they trying to do? I don't get it.
I think they're just trying to keep people playing at the moment.
Just keep the game alive until. But I don't know. I think that most of the people that are really into it are they're committed at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you're really accomplishing much. I think that there is an extent to. There's at some point you're going to be more likely to be burning people out than encouraging them to stay.
Yeah. I mean, Divide Quest could have lasted us a while if we were on a normal release cycle. Those were really good quests.
Ultimately, I think that the release
But-
cycle is what screwed this whole thing. Like
Yeah,
you could
it was
have,
just way
you could
too
have
fast.
easily, if they had decided to pull finger and localize it much earlier, then they would have had a real juggernaut on their hands.
Yeah, if they'd have come out instead of last year, 3 years ago, that would have been a
Not
good
like they weren't asked to do so.
by a zillion and 12 people.
Yeah, every couple of years they'd popped up and said, "Oh, we're going to release it in the West," and then they'd crawl back under their rock.
There'd be a collective yay, and then eventually that yay turned into we'll believe it when we see it.
Yeah, it's like, "Yay! Where did they go?"
So, PSO2's done. I won. I beat the game. Do I get a cookie?
Yes,
I got a
So-
title, I guess.
you do get a title, and you get various slooty dresses.
And non-slutty dresses. And big poofy dresses.
And Poofy and Slutty.
And I do have a couple pieces of underwear like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So got all the emotes that were fun and that I wanted. Got sealed and released so I can turn into a locker. So yeah, done with PSO2. What else? This is all Labo's fault. Every bit of it.
All of it?
He got me into shiny colors.
Oh no.
So I got me playing Idarus again. This one is a browser-based game, not even a mobile game.
Which is basically the same thing as saying you sitting in front of your PC playing a mobile game.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, that's when I'm usually playing my mobile games anyway. I don't
Most
play.
people at least have the dignity to use an emulator to do that.
So yeah, the unique thing about this game, and you'll see this if you go like dig up any HoloLive members that have played Shiny Colors, is you're forced to pick a waifu.
It's just mandatory waifu.
Yes, you are
Yeah.
given the option to get a free SSR copy of any of them. Well, not strictly like that, but you get a free SR produce of any of the ones you pick, and you get they're right up on a gacha that you can re-roll as many times as you want until you get whatever roll you want. So basically, the first roll on the gacha, you can re-roll it forever. And so you have to pick one waifu to take through produce mode. So I went with Pumpkin Chan. She is,
Pumpkin Chan.
So can you choose from any of the SSRs that are present in the game, or do you have a select
Permanent.
list of low quality waifus?
No, you can get any of the girls and any of their permanent SSRs. So each of the girls has about like 2 or 3 permanent SSRs. So you have a fairly decent selection for whoever you waifu. I went with this one.
Is it waifu? It is waifu.
It is also the oldest girl on the batch that I could see.
The one least likely for you to get arrested.
Yes.
Yes.
She has serious Kirari vibes, though. She is a bit of a ditz. Just a bit.
And dresses as a tree.
And she does that. And her accent is, well, let me just, I'll cut this out of my home screen to show you.
Oh no.
Because there's an English patch for this one. It's fan-made, but you can install it with Tamper Monkey.
What are we dealing with here? Oh dear.
She's an Osaka girl.
Which means she suddenly gets the southern drawl when she comes west.
Yes, and this is her imitating a California type girl. So you have a Southern girl imitating a California girl in that picture. As far as the English writing goes.
That's worrying.
So. Oh boy.
So is
So,
it
yeah,
just expected that every person who is likely to play this game is going to do research in advance to determine which one they want to waifu before they start playing?
You can flip through and see their bios, and you can listen to their voice lines and see a few sample clips. This is that same girl imitating Pumpkin-chan. But yeah, it's weird though. It's not a rhythm game like most of the other Idolmaster games. In fact, it's not even really a music game at all.
So it's a management game?
Yeah. You take your waifu through and you produce her, like an actual producer. And you take her to her lessons, and you take her to her photo shoots and her magazine shoots and her radio talk shoots. And you build up certain stats. And at the end of each season, before the end of the season, you've got to accrue a certain number of fans by either doing really well during your work slots or by doing an audition, where you, by spending points and accruing stats, gain abilities that you can use against judges during an audition. And you throw the abilities at the judges and have to play a little timing mini game to see how well your thing works on that particular judge. And you have to attack the judges in the right order with the right timings, with the right degrees of strength to be able to do the most damage to one of the three judges, or do a certain percentage of their health and damage, or do the most damage to a judge, or last hit a judge. So, and then you get points, and if you beat all the other girls that are competing against or alongside your idol, then you win, and you go on to the next season. And the first four seasons are really easy, and then you get to Wing, and Wing kills you over and over again.
What happens? So what do you do then? Do you just have to go back in time and start the season again? Like, what is? I don't understand.
After you lose, your character gets turned into a Fez idol. You can take into what they call Fez mode, which is like asynchronous multiplayer mode, where you play against other teams by making teams of Fez idols. So once you get 5 from making progress in produce mode, you don't have to win produce mode to make a Fez idol. It just takes whatever stats you have when you finish. And obviously, the longer you go, the more seasons you go through, the better your Fez idol will be. And you take it up against other people in multiplayer and play the same minigame, except against other players' teams. And you do this to unlock things like money and outfits. And
so what? So you can't ever resume the story mode?
No, you can produce her again to try and make her better. You have to start over though. So you pick a different. Though it's better to pick a different idol because you want more Fez idols, so you can make a team, because you can't have 2 of the same idol on a team. So if you once you lose in any part in the produce section, you start over. And it's a way more story-driven experience than other Idolmaster games. There's a ton of short stories and vignettes that pop up, depending on who you take with you, and what supports they bring, and what supports you equip. It's a very odd game, but I'll link the game, and I'll try and dig up the fan patch. You need Tamper Monkey to install it. So there's the game if you want to check it out. It's a browser game, and I'd have to dig through to find the English patch. And I have a Pocket Abo to read the Japanese to me that's not translated. So find one of those, and maybe you can get through the game. So yeah, I'll look for the fan patch posted there. But that's all I've done this week. PSO2 only took about an hour because of all the rainbow keys they dropped on us. Shiny Colors, to run a produce run, only takes about 30 minutes. The seasons are very short in terms of time they take. It's treated like a mobile game, even though it's a browser game. And yeah, we played Terraria for a weekend afternoon, and Jumpstar's also a weekend evening. So the rest of my time's been spent working and haven't done anything else.
Okay. In that case, we should take a break and then come back with some news, because stuff happened. Stupid
Yep,
stuff,
here's-
but stuff.
Here's some music. I will attempt to get a GitHub patch for you while we transition. I have like 20 different ways I could ruin this reintroduction of the show, but I just can't settle on one. So we're back.
Oh, this is always an interesting turn when there's just so many ways things can go wrong.
Why
Yeah.
do you know the lyrics to so many 90s boy band songs anyway?
There's something that happened around 2016 where boy bands went from something that I groaned about to that's cool. And I don't know what it was.
I'm thinking severe brain trauma.
It must be. I mean, the whole point of boy bands is to like to basically be the equivalent of waifus for tween girls.
Basically, yeah, they exist only to milk money out of them.
I don't know. Much like I don't know how to describe shiny colors because it's literally impossible for me to come up with an accurate descriptor for how that produce mode works.
Yeah, because you didn't describe a gameplay loop like at all.
It is impossible to really go through and explain it to you because I haven't played anything quite like it, or I'm really brain farting on something that's very obvious and just can't think of it.
Ah, dear.
But yeah, we have a
kinda
bunch
hard
of
to
news
make
to chew through.
The same thing I was experiencing trying to describe Terraria, because a lot of the loop is go, get stuff, make stuff, go get more stuff, fight boss. That's the loop.
Yeah,
Well, that covers most games, but
Yeah, it does.
it doesn't terminate as and then you play asynchronous PvP forever.
yeah, it's hard to describe. It's one of those I can't really describe it. You just gotta take a gamble and try it.
Yeah.
Historically, gambling has not worked well for me.
But
'Cause your
yeah,
luck is F rank.
it's rank EX. It can't be described. EX minus.
EX minus, there you go.
I don't think there is an EX minus.
There is now. Anywho,
But,
let us look at some news.
Let's save the BlizzCon stuff for last so that we can monofocus on it until the end of the show.
Alright, I just want to make a quick poke at this one because I've got it on my screen already. So the Apple versus Epic thing is still going on.
Yeah, except Apple did something mind-bogglingly stupid.
Yeah, they subpoenaed Steam for their information, citing that there is the possibility that Fortnite could be stolen on Steam, and Steam is the dominant market distributor in the PC space at the current moment. Therefore, it is relevant.
That Steam provide all their sales data, sales figures, and sales amounts
I've
for
got the
all their
list here,
games
actually.
for the past, 6 years.
Yeah, they wanted total yearly sales of apps and in-app products, annual advertising revenues, annual sales of external products attributable to Steam, so I'm assuming like Steam controls or something like that, annual revenues for Steam, and annual earnings, net or gross, from Steam.
So, Gaben's response to this was what it should have been,
Lol,
which
no.
is in a whole lot of words. Law, what? No.
Yeah. And even the courts kind of went, lol, what?
So, Steam's official response is a little more nuanced than that, and also a lot snarkier. And it goes,
But it's still very
We
polite and professional.
you guys are arguing about mobile sales and mobile markets. We don't compete in that market at all. Why are you coming to us looking for our sales data when we don't sell in the market you're having a dispute over?
Extremely private and sensitive data, might I point out.
Yes.
I don't understand what the justification was for a subpoena.
I don't either.
Like,
To be
well,
honest.
what are they arguing that they need this for? Why are they special? What's
Here we go.
the
Just
deal
to quote here, it is, the information is crucial for calculating the total size of the market for Epic's available distribution channels, which this court already has found highly relevant to this case. This was so yeah, basically to establish how much of how big a slice of the pie Epic has in the PC space.
How much could they potentially make if they just sold it on Steam instead of
But
Apple?
the thing is, yeah, they're arguing over mobile markets and mobile in-app purchases.
Yeah.
They also want, by the way, from Steam, the name of each app on Steam, which they could go get themselves if they could be bothered, the date ranging from when the app was available on Steam, and the price of the app in any in-app product available on Steam.
Well, that's easy. Steam has no apps. It has programs.
It has programs, but also they don't have that in last one, because there's a lot of programs and games and things on Steam where the secondary market or the in-app in-store in-game market is completely separate from Steam. Just about every MMO, for example.
Yeah.
So
Steam allows publishers to circumvent Steam for microtransactions fairly easily if they build the infrastructure for it themselves.
yeah, basically the thing that Apple is trying to prevent Epic from doing, Steam allows.
Yeah, Steam just doesn't care. They just want the money from the upfront sale.
Yeah,
That's it.
If they want to allow people to buy, in-game space bucks or whatever through Steam, then yeah, Steam will get a cut for that. But that's only if Steam is facilitating the sale.
Yeah. Like, buying AC for PSO2 counts as going through Steam, so yeah, Steam takes a cut. But there are plenty of other games where you log in to their home webpage and pay through that instead.
Yeah.
And that gets deposited on your account, and Steam doesn't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
So Steam in no way has a dog in this fight. They are literally sitting on the sidelines and had somebody knock on their door and go, "Hey, we want all your personal information." And they went, "Law, what?"
Did
No.
a judge sign off on this, or is this just something that has been unilaterally demanded by Apple?
It's just a demand from Apple by now. It hasn't been rejected.
Why
as far
did
as I
they
know.
think that Steam would bow down?
I
It's
don't know.
absolutely not in their interest to even attempt to disclose that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a countersuit before the subpoena itself, if it does get handed by the judge.
Yeah. Here's
Like-
Steam's response, by the way.
What's that noise?
That's a phone. So while Fern's on the phone, how's the weather?
Modestly warm.
It's been pretty chilly here, actually.
I hear Texas is getting it pretty bad.
Man, did you see some of the pictures of them toilets frozen?
I did see one, yes. I'm glad my toilet does not look like that. I would not like to get stuck to it.
Some people stored up water in their bathtubs to keep water, and it just froze over.
I saw a picture of a guy who had water for sale, and he went to check on his shop because he was afraid that there would be looting while everything was
Oh, and
falling
the
apart.
cash was just thrown in the front
and
door.
While they had taken all of his goods, his front door was just stuffed with cash. It's like, wow, so this is what it's like when you
Looting.
don't live in a leftist enclave.
Yeah, that's what looting looks like in Texas.
I got... Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I had a call from someone wanting to get me to come into work early. That doesn't work. And somehow we're on to... What are we on to now?
The weather.
Right. That involves money doors, I guess. Anyway.
It does, actually.
Where were we? Steam's response. So they said, somehow in the dispute over mobile apps, a maker of PC games that does not compete in the mobile market or sell apps is being portrayed as a key figure. It's not. The extensive and highly confidential information Apple demands about a subset of the PC games available on Steam does not show the size or parameters of the relevant market and would be massively burdensome to pull together. Apple's demand for further production should be rejected. So, which is a
It
very
just seems
polite
like-
way of just saying, lol, what? No.
It seems to me like whatchamacallit, Epic and Apple are just competing to beclown themselves.
A little bit.
Because every time one of them makes any kind of move, it's outrageous and stupid.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is Epic went into this being outrageous and stupid deliberately. They had ads and things.
Just because it was
ready to go.
deliberate doesn't make them look any less stupid.
Oh, no, it doesn't. So, yeah, I'd actually honestly forgotten this whole thing was still going on until every now and again you see something stupid pop up and it's
It's-
reminded.
About once every month and a half, we're going to get a juicy news nugget of somebody being stupid.
Yeah.
But then, yeah. So yeah, it continues. The saga continues. I have no idea why they would subpoena Steam for this stuff. I'm not even sure how Apple could use the data they got for business benefits.
They can't. Because just because Steam is the largest distributor on the PC market, they're not the only one.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, they are the nexus that makes PC gaming possible, but it's not. They're not alone.
No.
And the fact of the matter,
honestly, it's just all about there's not really to do with anything about the structure of their business anyway. Like how well you are doing in that market, as far as PC games goes, has no relation to the hardware, the way that it does in the mobile market. Like, if you have a PC, you can run Steam on it, and you can run the Epic Games Store on it, and you can run GOG on it, and you can run this, that, and the other on it. There are no limitations as far as that's concerned. You have a bifurcated market as far as mobile software is concerned, where you have Apple hardware and everyone else hardware.
Yes.
Which means that the
Apple,
dynamics
Google.
Well, I mean, there are a few. Presumably there are a few forks.
Yeah.
I know because I've owned one or two of them in my time. But ultimately the markets are like structurally dissimilar as a result, because there is no, like, as much as there are people who like to think that there is such thing as an Apple desktop gaming ecosystem or a Linux desktop gaming ecosystem, there really isn't, for all practical intents and purposes. So it's ultimately there, because there's no hardware influence on their market. Even if the other things that they said were true, it wouldn't matter, because the market in which Steam operates is entirely different from a hardware level. Like, you simply can't draw a parallel between the two. There's no relation between them. Steam haven't built any hardware that only their software works on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like subpoenaing Nintendo for their sales data because two PC game juggernauts are in a lawsuit together. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I'm glad, as long as there's no like idiot judges going to pop up and say, "Oh yeah, it's relevant." Yeah.
It's California.
There's
Yeah,
still time for that to happen yet. There's still time for that to happen yet. But what is most likely would happen in that situation is that that would just draw the process out even longer, because there would be a privacy lawsuit next, which would get elevated to the state Supreme Court, most likely, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and depending on how that shook out, you may see a countersuit from Valve themselves against the court system to say no.
Yeah, it would end up in SCOTUS if they pushed it any further. Like, there's no way that you can force the disclosure of private information like that just because you think it would be convenient for your court case.
Yeah, thankfully
that's just not a good enough reason.
Yeah, thankfully the judge they seem to have going over this case seems to be not putting up with Apple's crap, at least.
I don't think he's putting up with Epic's crap either.
Yeah.
Like, I think he sees both of these people as clowns.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to make that thought known by the sound of it.
At least it's a NorCal judge instead of a SoCal judge. If it was a SoCal judge, he'd be entertaining both of them.
Yeah.
SoCal's where like LA and stuff are. You get some wackadoodle judges down there. But NorCal, you think 30, 70. There's about a 30% chance you get a competent judge.
Yeah. Looks like there's one in this case, at least. Anyway.
So, is it?
What's
the
next bit of news?
I want to do this one. I really do.
Okay.
Joe Biden!
Yeah. I knew this was coming, and I still
regret it. Sorry.
So, Joe Biden, that horrible, horrible grandpa, went to his granddaughter's place in Camp David with a Mario Kart machine, and he thoroughly destroyed her, playing as the green mustached Mussolini himself, Luigi, in this arcade cabinet.
Still best brother.
And the media wouldn't shut up about it.
No, they won't. Even over here, it was constantly banging on about Biden playing Mario
What I
Kart.
couldn't understand is, and this is the thing that struck me, which wasn't what anybody else was talking about. Everybody else was talking about, oh well, I mean, why is this news? This is meaningless because this, that, and the other. And all I could think was, did nobody ever tell Joe that Granddad is supposed to let their granddaughter win?
Yeah. Like, he wins at Mario Kart in the arcade cabinet and beats his granddaughter, who he may or may not have illicit sexual problems with, thanks to his good old boy Hunter.
Why? Why you bring that up?
Because it's relevant.
Not 100% sure that it is, but
I mean,
I suppose all you need to know about Joe Biden's parenting skills is that Hunter Biden exists.
yeah.
So maybe that's evidence that he he was never really much good at that whole game.
I suppose he feels this granddaughter should just feel enjoyed enough that she is allowed to be acknowledged by his grand self, unlike one of his other grandchildren.
Oh right, yeah, he denies the existence of some of them, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Because Hunter is their baby daddy.
Yeah, because Hunter banged a hooker.
Yeah.
Okay.
You regretting it yet, Fern?
Oh yeah, but
He regrets everything forever.
also, just what is wrong with your political system?
Well, that's the fact they don't have one.
Yeah, it died.
You really
Like,
don't.
We had terminal swamp cancer, and in 2020, the system died.
Oh, it was dead before that.
I mean, it was on life support before that.
I think I really do think that Donald Trump was presiding over a corpse. Like 2016 was the market that it was dead, and it was not dead because Donald Trump won. It was dead because Donald Trump was the indicator that was required by his opponents that the system had outlived its usefulness.
So yeah, good old Joe. I will make fun of Joe on every platform, on every show I'm a part of, if possible, whenever I can, for whatever reason.
But it's such... Honestly, it is easy, low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Like his comments on the persons who may or may not be capable of going online.
Good grief, yes.
It's like I've been saying for a long time, most people aren't willing to just accept it, possibly because it's in bad taste just to say it outright. But, you know, Joe Biden is famously an old school racist. Like, he's an old school racist of the old Democrat kind. Who think that ethnicities other than his own are to be humoured so that they can be seen as beneficent.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he's not like a cross burner. But he also thinks that races other than his own are merely to be humoured for political points.
That they are to be stuffed in their own schools away from his. They are to be bussed.
And that's why he
across the
thinks that
city.
other ethnicities than his own can't use the internet.
All the
Man,
videos on
that is
Twitter that
such
came
a
out of
mess.
that.
I have to admit, there was a compilation of Joeisms on the news last night, and it was from this week only, and there was still like maybe 10 different ones.
You will well, it's because he did that town hall, which was a total disaster.
It was... I don't think there are words to describe that.
I don't think that I have seen in my lifetime a bigger optics disaster than that. That was an unforced error of that magnitude.
Oh, genocide? It's no big deal. It's just China doing what China do.
Oh, yes, that one.
The amount of sort of reinterpretations and apologetics I've seen on that statement is mind-blowing, and I think that the main reason it is happening is because most people's brains rebel at the idea that anybody could be dumb enough to just say that.
But he did. Anywho.
But it's okay, because Joe's still such a stand-up guy, he beats his daughter or granddaughter at Mario Kart.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Why is the fact that he was playing Luigi the news, though?
I don't know. I'm not a Luigi person. I don't like Luigi. But
I guess I
this
don't
is-
have hugely strong feelings about either of the Italian plumber brothers.
They have magnificent facial hair.
It's true. I do think Luigi's sort of a bit of a dork and kind of
Yeah.
a coward, but I mean, that's sort of
Luigi's-
just his role in the story.
That's kind of
Luigi's
a
just
really
been-
interesting thing too.
Recently, he's been pushed so hard by Nintendo. I got sick of seeing him.
But didn't
now
they do
that-
like a year of Luigi or something?
Yeah, a couple of years back.
And I just got tired of it. And now that Joe Biden has made it clear that his favorite character is Luigi, I can't ever look at Luigi again without seeing Joe Biden's face.
This is what American politics does to you folks.
To
Don't
be
let it.
fair, I was played that same version of Mario Kart, the Namco one, back in the day, and realized
Mhm.
that my father actually looks like Luigi. So yeah, there's that. And now I can't unsee it.
Right, I don't think I'll
Those
ever be able
cabinets
to
actually have
comprehend
a
that
camera
statement.
in them, which lets you take a photo of yourself, and it puts a few elements of the character onto your face, and there you go. That's your player marker.
That's
Oh,
really
boy.
strange.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean, he
boy.
already had the mustache.
Oh boy.
So, moving on to something less depressing, please.
The news that consumed the cycle that wasn't BlizzCon.
Nintendo did a thing.
Yeah, Nintendo did a thing. And
It was
there
a
are only
very
two.
non-thing.
Well, it had the thing that makes the internet not shut up about the thing when it gets talked about. New
I don't
Smash
understand-
character.
Smash
I
character.
just don't understand the hysterics. Like, what is it? What is it about an announcement for a new Smash character that gets so many people fired up?
We are talking about a group of people that will drive a truck through a Taco Bell, dude.
Yeah, but it's not
I've never
even
been
just
to a Taco
those
Bell.
people.
Maybe Taco Bell just inspires you to do things like that.
I mean,
Like-
yes.
The Smash fans are crazy. There's something wrong with them. Car, Taco Bell.
To be fair, Taco Bell has committed unspeakable crimes against culinary anything.
Yeah, I experienced that earlier in the week.
Well, you keep going there.
Well, stop it.
Like it always reaches like 3 a.m. for you or whatever, and you're like, I wonder if Taco Bell is still open, and then you go and get Taco Bell, and you spend the next day on the can. Like, you never learn your lesson either. You just do it every time.
Well, they're the only place that's open at 3 a.m. after the Wooflu fake demic.
Anywho, so stuff that was actually announced there. You got the new Smash character is Fyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There you go. I feel like there's some spoilers behind her in there, but at this point,
I want to
eh.
I want to preface the discussion that's being had around this because I think a lot of people are very stupid about this one.
Of course they are. Why?
The censorship discussion with when it comes to Smash especially is wrong. Sakurai has gone on record several times saying he has gotten into fights with Peggy to limit censorship. It is not bowing to the Twitter remob anytime any kind of sexual censorship happens in these games.
What did
So
they
the fact
censor?
that they put tights on Mira.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And,
most people who oppose censorship oppose tampering with the art for any reason, because it's one of those things which is essentially a slippery slope.
Yeah,
Because
honestly,
you-
I hadn't
you
even
would-
noticed.
And
But,
oftentimes you won't. But that's how slippery slopes operate, right? Because a slippery slope is not a fallacy; it's a tactic. It's the thin edge of the wedge. You do the thing that is easy and obviously not harmful. They'll say this doesn't really affect the integrity of the product at all, but it won't stay that way.
But
It never
I do
stays that way.
I see the discussions and all the discussions around this particular piece of censorship going on to bowing to the Twitter mob, but that's just simply not true, as far as we know. All
Yeah,
evidence points to the contrary.
that's just the America is the center of the universe phenomenon.
Yeah,
That's essentially all that is. Like, they think that Japan gives a toss about what America thinks culturally, and no, they don't. They really don't.
No, this is a case of the game has a PEGI A rating. That's the lowest PEGI rating you can get, and to keep it there, they got to cover up a bit more of the girl's legs.
No, so they're
So,
just capitulating in order to maintain that A rating.
Well, the thing with Japanese censorship laws is that Japanese censorship laws are not. How do I explain? They are Western laws written well, they're written in ape of a Western perspective from an Eastern perspective, which neither really understands the other. So the scenario that ends up playing out is something like, you're observing the way in which these sort of content regulatory things might be deployed from, say, an American perspective, except that you can only sort of ape what they are doing. It's the equivalent of rather than handwriting, you are drawing the shape of letters. So their laws regarding censorship are very specific in a lot of ways. Like they have this sort of like the equivalent of using a ruler to measure the length of a girl's skirt to determine whether or not it's too lewd. Everything is broken down into, objective material facts, because, well, they don't actually have the mores and sensibilities of the West in order to base the sort of the gut feeling of censorship on. Like in America, it's famous for having obscenity laws that are based on a principle like, I can't define this thing, but I know what it is when I see it. Because those sensibilities are Western, in Japan they just had to nail them down to numbers ultimately, one way or another. And so their laws are absolute. You can't argue your way out of them in the name of anything, and they're very pedantic. Because they're an aping of Western censorship sensibilities from a way back, with a sort of a Eastern outlook, which doesn't really mesh with it that well. And that's just the way it's set up now. They're going to have to fight this forever. They're probably not even going to dial back, because it's hard to convince the Japanese to let go of a law.
Yeah. Really, really hard.
It's hard to convince anybody to let go of a law, but in the East especially. But yeah. On the plus side, though, number one, the tights do look kind of hot. Number two, they added jiggle physics to the girls, in excess of what they had in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So
it wouldn't have been a big deal, except people had to jump up and down and scream about it, really.
Yeah, and that's one axis. The other axis I see is, aside from censorship, is people screeching that, oh my god, more anime characters with swords in Smash. Like, do you realize what genre, what are you watching an anime anything for? Half of Animu is people with swords.
Yeah, like that's the reason why Bleach is my favorite of the big Shonen Jump properties. It's because in that one, everyone has a sword. Like, that is all there is to it.
Not to mention, like, it's Nintendo. Half of their heroes are anime guys with swords.
Like
even the ones that don't have swords, it's like anime character with bow, anime character with book.
Yeah,
also
anime
sword.
character. But yeah, sword is a classic weapon in both the East and the West. Most fictional characters, if they're in a traditional heroic role, are going to have a sword.
Yeah, if it was another Fire Emblem character with a sword, then you could roll your eyes.
Yeah, they do have more choices in Fire Emblem, and I wish they'd give some more love to some of the side characters, but that aside...
Yeah, I wish they would too, but anyway.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
But yeah, so seen that one, and just the general oversaturation of the conversation as soon as a Smash announcement happens.
Oh yeah, every time.
Also, why do voice actors in your country sound so stupid?
Yeah.
Because all the males from Xenoblade were done in some Australian studio.
But they got these weird pseudo-English accents.
Yeah, it's like it's like either a British person trying to sound Australian or an Australian trying to sound like they're British.
Well, usually when someone tries to sound Australian, they sound like a pirate. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no
What did they
idea.
do? Get the cast from Crocodile?
Why remind me that exists?
Because I watched it.
So did I. We had the
I've
worst
never
childhood.
seen the show, but that name sounds amazing.
The show was appallingly bad.
I don't even know how to explain what Crocodile is.
Take lots of drugs and look at a brightly coloured crocodile. And then maybe you're in the ballpark.
It's a children's cartoon. There's a bunch of, like, basically there's this, if I recall correctly, there's like a hotel owner / land developer called Hardacre, and he's basically got this hotel set up adjacent to a a billabong where a bunch of crocodiles hang out, and these crocodiles are all sort of like angular design and are blue because reasons. And so basically, this is the ongoing conflict between him trying to develop the land and the crocodiles basically coming up with ways to foil his latest get-rich-quick schemes.
Yeah.
What is this design for crocodiles?
Yes. These
But
are
it's
incredibly bottom-heavy crocodiles.
But this is like I don't know if it was state funded, but it's like public broadcasting level animation.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't made by a cartoon studio. This is made by the person they could find to make it, type of thing.
Yes. Someone's sister, probably. So, yeah,
But,
anyway.
we know a guy who's pretty handy with a tablet.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So this was predating tablets.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I know. Anywho, stuff that was announced in the Nintendo thing. You got the remake or remaster of Skyward Sword on the Switch, with
Yeah,
the
a lot of
option
people-
to turn off the motion controls.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining to me that it's still not left-handed. You still
Yeah,
can't switch it to
that's-
left hand, but I'm like, be more right-handed.
It's a minor thing. Like they changed Link's hand. Like Link is normally left-handed, but they changed it because of the motion controls.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, I would be perfectly happy if all of the money which otherwise goes into diversity went into actual accessibility instead.
that left or right-handed is no. That's an argument that's probably going nowhere as well. Everyone's got to bow to the Southpaw overlords, I guess. But yeah, that was just a design decision at the time to accommodate the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And what they ultimately did was just flip the entire game, if I recall. Because they originally designed it with left-handed, and then it just didn't work with the mechanics.
Because nobody's left-handed.
Yeah, a handful of people are.
I don't
my
know what
sister.
percentage of the population is.
Couldn't tell you.
I have my sister and one other friend.
Yeah, my brother.
So I know-
It's, the
know
worst
two.
is when I don't know how your elementary schools are arranged, but we had sort of like groups of desks that were pushed together,
Mm-hmm.
and when you have to sit next to a left-handed person is a huge pain in the butt because when you're writing, your elbows keep hitting each other.
Yes.
Yep.
It's just the worst.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah. Anyhow.
The,
So yeah, I like that. Like I like a lot about Skyward Sword. The mechanics, or sorry, the motion control mechanics were a pain in the neck until you learned them, though.
didn't it come out before Motion Plus on the Wii? So it was
I
really,
believe it
really
came out
jank?
with it,
Okay.
but yeah, without it, it was really jank. Other games we got announced, I'm just going to skip over a whole bunch of them because they're not worth talking about. Is Splatoon 3 has been announced, so it's just more of that.
Ina was very happy about that one.
Yeah, I like Splatoon. It's fun.
What are they like? Her relatives?
That's what the chat was saying.
Of course they were. Of course they were. You have the next game from the makers of Dingley Rampage.
Okay, so this is actually hilarious because they led us to believe this was going to be another death game the whole time
Yes.
in all the trailers and pre-release material, and then this trailer drops and like, oh, by the way, it's not a death game.
Yeah,
And
Were
they make
people
it,
happy or sad about that? Like, what was the...
it's
Did
like
people
as-
want it to be another death game, or...
as usual, nobody knows how to feel about it because it's Uchikoshi and Kodaka.
yeah.
So it
could
might
just
still be
an
a death
enormous
game.
troll.
You never have any clue until the game comes out. They will straight up lie to you.
Like, it's gonna be a totally different genre for the first 35 minutes, and then death game from then on.
I mean, Dapper Ruckus Number 3 actually had like the fake out protagonist.
Yeah. It also had the best first chapter in any one of those
It
type
was
of
such
games
a
ever.
good first chapter. Even though you could
But-
see it coming once if it cottoned on what was going on.
And you couldn't see it coming until halfway through the first trial.
Yeah. About that halfway point is when it just will drop for most people and they go, oh no.
No, it's just throughout the first trial, pieces start clicking. And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Oh no.
The killer was me.
It was me. So that's actually one worth keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, I'm interested in whatever those two do. They in general put out good products. Them working together, I don't know about. I know they're drinking buddies, but I don't think they've ever collaborated this heavily on a project before.
So it should be fun.
Just because two people hang out in their off time and shoot the breeze doesn't mean they're necessarily going to produce a good project.
Well, yes.
See some of the anime that have been produced by certain collaborators who otherwise have widely liked anime to their names, and then when they get together and write a story, it's a catastrophe.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I'm interested to see what they can do, though. There is potential.
There is potential. Other games of note, the remake of Stubbs the Zombie. Definitely play that if you haven't before. It's a great game. Although it was rather reference humor based, and some of it's not going to age all that well. Although it's a game made by the Halo team, so the police sergeant police chief who turns up is called Chief Masters, because of course he is. Incidentally, he's the first boss, and you have a dance-off as your boss fight.
What?
As a zombie.
What?
That's the sort of game you're dealing with. It is a great game.
Just digesting that.
Yeah. I went into that whole sequence blind, and you walk into his office and here's this dance floor, and you just think, oh no. So anyway, anything else from the Nintendo lot we want to talk about?
No, not really. The only things that jumped out to me were the Smash reveal and Kodaka Nichikochi's new game.
Yeah. Okay. Next is BlizzCon, I guess. The Blizzard stuff.
We can preface this with Saudi Arabia now is one of the largest shareholders in Activision Blizzard, EA, Take-Two, and etc.
I mean, at least it's not China.
I mean, I don't know what's worse.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to process that one either.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think who your two co-hosts are here, Fern. We have a very distinct bias against a certain group.
Yes.
Well, we have a distinct bias against a lot of groups. We're pretty
Yes.
equal opportunities as far as that's concerned.
But this one's one of them that we have that's pretty high on the totem pole.
Is it Saudi Arabia or a large company in Saudi Arabia, or is it just one of their ridiculously rich princes?
I think it's probably their princes.
Yeah, it's probably
Because pretty much all of that money is held at the top, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's going to how their society is built.
Even if it's owned by a company, that company will be controlled by a sheikh who owes their allegiance directly to the crown. So
Yes. In this case, yes, it's Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
is he the one that also put money into trying to make a video games industry in Saudi Arabia a while back?
I think so, yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, there are worse things that he could be doing with his money. I mean, usually bored princes with too much money and not many scruples tend to do really horrible things. So at least he's not doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it doesn't involve Aloha Snack Bar. Yet.
Anything that can distract them from causing trouble is fine by me.
Yeah. At least he's not buying another Ferrari to wreck.
But if they end up ruining the industry, well, I'll be a lot less sanguine about that.
Yeah.
Please don't Aloha Snack Bar the games industry.
I don't think that they have a genuine interest in it, though. Not in the way like when China buys a company, it's because they are trying to gain control of a sector. Typically, one way or another, they're trying to enhance the amount of control they have over some sector in a particular country's economy, and that's why they advance in that particular way. But as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned, I think that they're just spending their money on stuff. I don't think that the objective of this is subversion.
It largely depends on the prince. Like sometimes they'll just buy stuff and then let it do its own thing to accumulate money, and other times they runs on.
I'm not thinking though that it's necessarily that specific to an individual so much as the cultural background and the ruling ideology is not one that is very. It's not like China's. It's not like in China's case, subversion is very much a part of how they operate. It's the objective. They have a goal that they want to accomplish with respect to the amount of power and authority they have on the world stage, which I don't think is a goal that is a direct concern to an individual prince in Saudi Arabia. Like, you know, political Islam is a real thing, and it's a very, very powerful force in every Islam majority country, but it doesn't operate the way communism does. It doesn't operate using the same rules and principles. When they want to take over your country, they will let you know it. They will send millions of immigrants, or they will send missiles. They will not buy parts of your country, typically. That's not the way it works in this day and age. In bygone eras, they did engage in the same sort of economic warfare that China does, but it's not really the done thing now in their culture. And when I say bygone days, I mean literally centuries ago.
So yeah, that's just, at this point, it's just kind of a thing.
So, let's see what the Crown put on for a show.
Oh, I see this as sort of like it's not exactly a win. It's a non-loss, because what they buy, the Chinese can't buy, and I think the Chinese are more damaging to the industry generally because they don't want it to succeed necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
They want Chinese interests to succeed, and whether or not a company they have a stake in succeeds is just a secondary measure, and they would be happy to see that company go under if it served their purposes, one way or another. But in the case of these guys, they're investing in it because they feel like at this point it's a good idea for them to do so. And so long as they think that it's a good idea, they're not going to try and screw it over.
So yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's have a look at what was in the show. I didn't watch the whole show because
I didn't either.
I wasn't looking for depression today.
I was not interested enough to even look at it. I used to be the one who kept the most tabs on Blizzard out of the three of us, but I've just soured on it so much because most of the content that I had been watching up until I stopped was these are the things which are going to be in Shadowlands, and these are the things they're going to do to try and salvage their position, and they just failed in such spectacular fashion to do so. Or rather, what was spectacular about their failing was the mundanity of it all.
Yeah. Not to mention, you think you do, but you don't.
Well, yeah. But I mean, they're sort of shot through everything that they do now.
Yeah.
But I want it that way.
Stop that. All right. So, stuff that was actually announced, once we cut away all their crap, and a lot of it was just crap about by the look of it. It was just blather and drag.
I looked at, the reason I didn't watch any of it is I looked at the schedule, and it's like, this is all meaningless pap.
There's
no one wants to go.
The schedule.
Nobody wants to go to a panel about the development of Thrall.
No. Really,
like, the Thrall is a byword for badly written characters amongst a lot of people.
It didn't start out that way, at least. Not in Warcraft 3. It was all right.
Yeah, well, but in Warcraft 3, the audience was much, much smaller.
Yeah.
There are more people who remember him as Green Jesus than remember him as the protagonist of Warcraft 3.
Yes. When he actually had a meaningful story arc.
Well, I mean, he might have had a meaningful story arc if they hadn't cancelled the game where it was supposed to be told.
Well, yeah.
It's sort of, I've always found the story sort of dangles. Like, it's not.
There's bits missing.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not quite attached on the back end to anything. He's just like, oh, he's this guy who's leading this war band, and eventually he's going to become war chief of the Horde because reasons, despite the fact that, you know, for some reason Hellscream lets him lead, and that never made any sense to me because Hellscream doesn't have that personality.
Yeah, it seems like they just skip a bit in there, kind of. So anyway, stuff we actually got announced. We'll start with probably the best thing in my opinion, and then we'll move down the list to progressively worse. Best thing they've announced, I think, is the Blizzard Arcade Collection, which is a 3-pack of Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Black. What was it now? Blackthorn.
Yeah.
Each of which has a definitive edition, and in a lot of cases, that's either adds a little bit more content or just allows you to play it on modern systems.
But then are you going to tell me that they're going to charge $100 for it?
They are charging
Thought it was $40.
$40, I believe. Yeah.
It's still too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me pop up battle.net, and once it finishes installing spyware on my computer, I'll be able to tell you the price.
I'll just go to the website.
That's what I'm looking at. Except it's terribly
Um,
designed. Oh,
website-
right, it's name your own price. So,
Yeah.
20 euros. Why is it in euros?
It doesn't even give me an option.
What is the difference? So you've got a 20 euro version, a 40 euro version, and a 60 euro version. What's the difference? Let's see.
Isn't that like asking for $60, $80, or $100?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So the base version just gets you the games. It gives you a WoW pet as well, a couple of Diablo portraits, yada yada yada. Then the bigger versions just give you more mounts, more pets, and more fluff. Oh, and one, I think it's the top tier, you get a 30-day WoW pass as well.
This has been one of those things that I find quietly revolting about Blizzard, is that they have so little interest in making good games, so little interest in actually selling products, that the only thing they do every time they have a new product to sell is they attach a bunch of WoW pep to it, so that all of the WoW players who are fanatical about owning every purchased WoW mount will buy it and then never play it because they don't care.
What's most annoying, actually, now that I'm really looking at things, you cannot buy the arcade pack on its own. You've got to buy it in the Celebration Collection. So, which means you are forced to buy, a coupon for the Blizzard merch store.
The floof.
The floof, a handful of Overwatch boxes and things like that. So yeah, you're paying for the floof. The actual arcade collection itself is probably worth about $5.
Is this genuinely the thing that you think is the best thing that they announced? That does not bode well, Fern.
It does not.
Because everything that you've said so far is utterly revolting.
Yes, it is. Because it all goes downhill from here. Honestly, they're giving me a chance to play, if I was willing to buy this anyway. It's a chance to play Lost Vikings again, which is good. But can I do it without all the rest of this crap, please? So, yeah.
No.
And
No,
that
you cannot.
is the highlight of the show.
Yep.
No, that's not very high.
So, next.
Is the announcement of the next patch of Shadowlands, which is Chains of Domination, and I'm already bored.
I put that at the bottom because it elicits no response.
Yeah, does anybody play World of Warcraft anymore?
Yeah, some people do.
Like, there's a more exciting World of Warcraft announcement, but still not enough to get me to go, woohoo, I'm going to reinstall WoW.
Yeah, if they put out another expansion and said, okay, we're doing away with all the crap, here's some raids.
No, I still wouldn't trust them. It wouldn't matter what they announce now.
Yeah,
They've had their chance.
That would be a step in the right direction, but yeah, they got to
It
wait.
would be too little too late.
Yeah.
Too little too late.
I think
I don't
you're
think
right.
that there's anything about World of Warcraft that's salvageable now. They needed a smash hit this time and they didn't do it. It's over. It's over.
We got a damp squib.
If they said, okay, guys, look, we screwed up, we all quit, here's the entire old team back, and we're rolling the game back to Burning Crusade.
Which they're kind of doing.
Even if they said that, I
No.
wouldn't trust them. It's too late.
The good news is Burning Crusade is coming to Classic. The bad news is they've had to put the modern games monetization bollocks in it.
Yeah.
Nobody
So-
wanted that.
What you can do is you can stay on Classic as it is now, which is stopping at Naxxramas, and then you can buy Burning Crusade and play that on a different server.
I know
Yeah.
that this was weighed up at length, though, because this has been a discussion that's been being had for a long time. was
Mhm.
whether it was a better idea to to advance the server forward slowly the way the game did previously, or whether it was better to bud off servers for each new expansion because there are different breakpoints for different people in which part they thought was the game was still good.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they're budding it, because budding it, you can charge more things. In
Yeah,
this case,
ultimately.
if you want to clone a character from Classic over to Burning Crusade, you need to pay for that. Or you can buy a one-time character boost to jump your character up to the top level.
Are they charging for the expansion as well, or just for the transfer?
Oh yeah, also for the expansion.
They get you coming and
Because
going, basically.
this is Blizzard. This is Blizzard. We have a great
like,
thing here, and they have to ruin
this
it.
level of flagrant disrespect for their customers is starting to get amusing. But
I
it's
think
just
it
so
passed
so
amusing
comical.
a while ago.
It's so like it's cartoonish almost.
It is. It really is.
I can't decide whether it's funny or if it still hurts.
I don't think
Because-
I have any affection left for Blizzard. Like I just don't have any, none. I didn't play Classic, and part of that was because I didn't want to accumulate any additional undeserved affection for a
It's
Blizzard
not-
that doesn't exist anymore.
It's not sadness for Blizzard. It's sadness for what they're doing to part of my childhood over there on the operating table.
Oh yeah,
I think-
have a look at the
I think that
operating
I'd-
table next door then while you're at it.
I think that I have accepted that it's those days can't come back ever again. Then that's just over. But I mean I hope that, because I feel like Burning Crusade was really the WoW rating heyday. I hope for the sake of the people that do intend to play it that it works out for them. But I don't think that I have it in me to be involved ever again.
Yep.
Unless it involves 27 clone Lady Vosh spawns. And Kungan face tanking them all with 7 Thunder Furies taped to his forehead. I don't think we're going to get this.
Them are some
That's
vintage memes.
Yeah, unless it involves that, I don't think we're going to get the same experience.
Yeah, you're not. You're really not. So there's
Okay.
that. And last and possibly not least, I guess, is the resurrected Diablo 2, as they're calling it.
Which,
Which is being done by Vicarious Visions, at least. Not
That has
Blizzard
been-
themselves.
that has been bought out by Blizzard after they made the Tony Hawk game.
Yeah. So normally you go, hey, Vicarious Visions, they did that Tony Hawk game. Great, let's try some. Blizzard bought them. Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
And it's a first party Blizzard property, so you can't use the excuse. Maybe Blizzard won't have their fingers in the pie this early in their relationship with this company.
I'd rather they put their fingers in it than the things they are putting in it.
But yeah.
So,
Already though, did you see the character models in this trailer?
potatoes.
For a remaster, they look ugly as sin, no pun intended.
Heh. Yeah. I mean,
I haven't watched the media yet, so I don't have any comment.
they've given
on
the
that.
whole thing a graphic overhaul, which was going to happen.
It's really hard to tell though.
It's gone from muddy 2D to muddy 3D. I think it's a shinier, admittedly. But
Well, it's going to depend on whether it can keep the artistic character, because it was one of the criticisms of Warcraft 3 Reforged. Was it there?
I mean, it
There
does.
are too many to recount, but the fact is that Warcraft 3 Reforged didn't even look like Warcraft.
Really didn't. No.
It looked like a Chinese knockoff of Warcraft, because that's what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently in the year since Reforged launched, they have done next to nothing to fix it.
Why would they? It's a dead project. They
Yeah.
screwed up so badly nobody will ever trust it again.
They screwed up so badly they retroactively destroyed Warcraft 3 while doing it.
Yeah, so I mean, if you own a copy of Diablo 2, like you've got the discs and you've got the CD key, treasure them.
Yes.
Treasure them, because Blizzard are going to scourge extant Diablo 2 from the face of the universe when they release the remaster.
If Warcraft is any indication. So, yeah, we know it's coming. apparently Diablo Immortal's still being worked on, as is Diablo 4.
Yeah, Diablo 4 isn't being worked on. They just were forced to announce that after. Don't you people have phones?
Well,
Yeah.
my attitude towards it, in a sense, is do we need Diablo 4 if they are actually capable of remaking Diablo 2 to be good? If they have the capacity to do anything other than fail horribly, we don't actually need Diablo 4. It's not necessary. It doesn't serve a purpose.
Yeah, Diablo
Because
2,
essentially we've already got a good Diablo game if Diablo 2 gets remade properly.
Yeah, if they make it properly, like give it a fresh coat of paint and file a couple of the wonky edges off it, then we don't need
Don't introduce microtransactions or real money auction house or etc.
Now
etc.
you're
Man.
talking lunacy.
The real money auction house.
Oh.
The more I think back on it, the more I realize just how much that screwed up the base design of Diablo 3.
Yeah, that was so bad.
Like, the main reason the drop rates are so atrocious in Diablo 3 is because of the stupid real world auction
To
house.
incentivize using shekels instead of gameplay.
Yeah, and it's awful. Like, me and one of my friends had macros set up to quickly switch our gear to plus drop rate gear because there was no function to do it in the game. So we had to download like third-party mouse click auto clicker for screen positions to do it whenever we were about to kill something. Because the drop rates were just so bad.
Yeah, it wasn't designed to be a good experience, fundamentally.
Play the PlayStation version if you must play Diablo 3 because they buff the drop rates by default by a dramatic amount.
Too much, in my opinion.
Probably a bit too much, yeah.
Yeah, because I can't move for legendaries at this point. They don't feel legendary at all. That's why I stopped playing, was that I kept getting gear that looked awesome but would expire within 3 levels. And it's like, I'm not actually excited to get good drops anymore because it happens so frequently and they'll be so bad within 5 levels. It was like having the experience of moving from Vanilla WoW to Burning Crusade every couple levels.
Yeah, except
all your hard-earned gear just gets reset.
except in the base game, or at launch anyway, it had the problem of you never leave Elwyn Forest.
Yeah, keep killing those kobolds.
Yeah, just keep killing that treasure goblin. Maybe he'll finally drop something so you can take on something a bit harder.
Nope. Just nope.
No, you're never going to get beyond Fargo Deep Mine, ever.
So yeah, that was BlizzCon. It was a non-event.
What a non-event! My goodness,
non-event.
I can't imagine anybody being genuinely excited.
What's really sad is this is their 30th anniversary, and they had nothing.
I'm sure that they'll just blame COVID.
Probably.
Yeah, that's the go-to excuse.
Everything.
But
Like-
Makoof.
If they didn't mention kind of under their breath in the corner at one point, go, "Oh, we're working on a new AP."
But they say that every time.
They do.
I think that what's actually the case is that they have in a sort of a pseudo incubator multiple new IPs so that they can always say that. But ultimately, in order to meet their quarterly requirements, all they're going to do is monetize up the wazoo whatever they've currently got.
Yeah, a lot of big devs have those incubators, so yeah, it's probably just that. Yeah, I'd say if they were going to announce WoW 2, the 30th anniversary would have been the ideal time. But they
Yeah.
didn't.
I think that WoW is on life support, and I don't just mean that in the practical sense that they don't have as many they don't have as many users as they would like to have. I mean that in the sense of they're on borrowed time even from their shareholders at this point.
Yeah, because they're just not getting the turnaround that the shareholders bought in expecting. So, yeah, as a whole, nothing. Come to think of it, I don't think Overwatch or anything like that got mentioned either.
What about Overwatch 2? Isn't that been supposed to be coming any day now for years?
Supposed to be, yes.
Yeah, how could anybody be excited for a BlizzCon like this? My goodness, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
It's just pathetic.
So anyway, we should start looking to wrap up.
Yep.
Alrighty.
On a happier note, Soldier Boy's selling a video game console again. We'll bring you updates when that happens.
I can't tell whether he's seriously this dumb or not.
He
I
is.
can honestly not
He
tell.
is.
I don't
He
know
is.
anything about rappers. Like, I generally am inclined to assume a certain level of cynicism for everybody, but as I grow older, I find out that actually sometimes people are just that dumb.
That he is.
Yeah.
Just remember, AOC auditioned to get in office, and she really is that stupid.
Alright.
I think that broke him.
Yes.
Well,
But,
it's hard to accept living in that world.
I mean, this ain't the university, man. People are really, really dumb, or at least have temporary short brain.
Let me see. Let's just have a quick flick through this Soldier Boy thing. Oh, he's doing exactly the same thing again.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hasn't changed anything about his strategy. No,
No.
he's just doing what he did last time, except it's again.
Does he like lawsuits? Because this is how you get lawsuits. Again,
Maybe he just has like a really short memory and doesn't remember anything that happened last time.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess everybody just got tired of spending money on the lawsuit last time.
Nintendo got bored and just gave up.
I wouldn't put it past them. All right, let's wrap up.
Closing comments go. Ha!
Don't
gotcha.
never wanna hear
No.
you say
Uh,
it that way.
And on that
90s were a
bombshell,
mistake.
So yeah, more Backstreet Boys next week.
no,
No.
there won't be. Don't scare everybody away, or at least like the two people that do listen, don't scare those guys away, or at least they would listen if we were ever able to get the show up on YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything catch fire yet. So
Why
whether
are
it
you not
actually gets up
making
on
an
YouTube-
archive?
I made an archive last time. That burned down as well.
What?
Yeah. So that's why I'm completely stumped as to what happened.
How is it even possible?
I don't know.
Did you
For-
reinstall OBS?
Nope. But
You probably should have.
For Nurian's computer.mov.
I have no idea what happened at all.
So yeah. All right, folks. I think we're done. Y'all got anything?
Nope.
No.
All right.
Just sorrow, shame, and disappointment.
Usually.
We'll see y'all. We'll see you next week with happy, good news. It'll be a better week, and great
Liar.
things will happen. I am lying through my teeth with a smile on my face.
You should take up politics.
No, I admit to my lies. Can't do that in politics.
No, you definitely can't.
So
Thanks for that
we'll
sinking
see.
ship.
Yeah, so we'll see you then. Sayonara. Bye bye.